What is going on, guys? Welcome to HomeCraft cocktails you can make from the comfort of your home. My name is Briss, and this week we'll be going over The Last Word. The Last Word was first created back around 1915 and was first served at the Detroit Athletic Club. Now, the creator of the drink is pretty much unknown. However, a guy by the name of Frank Fogarty, who was a vaudeville performer, is credited for bringing the drink to New York, where it grew immensely in popularity. The cocktail will go on to be popular for a few decades and was even featured in Ted Sausier's classic cocktail book, Bottoms Up, back in 1951. However, after the 50s, the drink would fall into obscurity and would not become popular again until the 2000s. This resurgence in popularity in the 21st century can be attributed to Murray Stinson, who was a bartender at the Zigzag Cafe in Seattle, and he actually had came across the cocktail in Sausier's book mentioned earlier. Since then, the drink has been a staple cocktail and is one of the best and most notable cocktails to come out of the Prohibition era. Now, with that brief history lesson out of the way, let's get down to actually making the drink. So The Last Word is a cocktail made up of even proportions. So all of these ingredients will be 3/4 of an ounce. So to start off, we'll do 3/4 of an ounce of gin. Next, we're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of Green Chartreuse. Green Chartreuse is a very herbal liqueur. You can find this usually at a liquor store for about $60. It is pretty expensive, yes, I know, but it is definitely worth it. And it is a requirement to make a last word, which is, worth it in my opinion. Next, you want to pour 3/4 of an ounce of Maraschino Liqueur. And then you want to add 3/4 ounce of fresh squeezed lime juice. Next, you want to add ice to your shaker and shake for about 10 to 15 seconds. And then you want to strain your cocktail into your cocktail glass. And I'm actually going to double strain this by using your regular Hawthorne strainer as well as a fine strainer just to get rid of those really fine, small pieces of like lime that might have got stuck in there from squeezing the juice. So yeah, not just the pieces of lime, but also like the very tiny little shards of ice as well. You want to get rid of those. And then lastly, you want to garnish with a maraschino or a brandied cherry. And we're just going to take this and place it right in there, just like that. And there you have a last word. And now that we have our drink, let's give it a taste. Okay, so in my honest opinion, you will be very hard pressed to find a cocktail that is more balanced than a well-made last word. It is a great blend of sweetness from the maraschino liqueur, citrus from the lime juice, and then with the green chartreuse. So with the green chartreuse, for those who don't know, it's a kind of herbal liqueur that I think is made up of over like 120 different herbs. I don't know. Somewhere up there. It's a lot of different herbs that make up green chartreuse. That's probably one of the reasons why it's so expensive. You know, a lot of refinement and craft goes into composing that. But yes, it gives it like a very, like I said, like herbal, earthy, medicinal kind of taste. It's very hard to describe. You'd have to just taste it for yourself. But yes, this is a very, very good tasting drink. One of my favorites, actually, probably a top 5 drink of mine. And it is one that I can fully recommend to almost anybody, you know, whereas with the Negroni, which is my favorite cocktail, that has such an overwhelmingly bitter taste to it that I'm like, I love it, but I don't necessarily recommend it for just anybody because it might just be too bitter for, you know, your average person. But for this, no, by all means, yeah, if you're someone who has had all different kinds of cocktails in the world, or you are just, beginning to really expand your horizons in the cocktail world, a last word is great for any scenario. Also, it looks kind of dope with the fact that it has that green tone to the drink due to the green chartreuse, with that nice like red notch at the bottom from the maraschino cherry that we have sitting there. So I don't know. It looks cool and it's different. It's easy to make. 4 ingredients, all the same proportions. You can make it in 2 minutes and it tastes amazing. Like, what more can you ask for? And using the fine strainer, like I said previously, it is great for getting rid of those chunks of, not really chunks, but just those little tiny bits of the lime that we had squeezed, as well as those tiny shards of ice that are shaken up as well. So when you double strain it like that with the fine strainer and the Hawthorne strainer, you get just a very clean, smooth drink from a consistency standpoint. Not mandatory by any means, it is optional, but I do think that it fares well in this drink. So with that being said, guys, thank you for watching this week's episode, and I'll see you next week for the next round. Peace.